All right, guys. If you're just now joining us, we're live here on YouTube. This is Chris and Sean on talking through the movies, and me and Sean are having an epic debate on which TV series turned movie was the better flick. You know it. You know what I'm talking about. Care Bears versus My Little Pony. And Sean, okay, we've been talking about this for 4 hours, but go ahead. I mean, go. What do you have to say?
I got to be honest with you, man. I'm tired of hearing this shit about some Care Bears. And honestly, I don't know why we didn't throw Rainbow Bright up in this shit because I don't give a fuck about My Little Ponies and Care Bears, but some motherfucking Rainbow Bright. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, get out of here! Oh my God, Care Bear! Come on! You got the Care Bears. You got the cousins. You got it all. Come on! I mean, they
Care Bears share my nuts.
Oh! This again. They shoot love from their stomach.
I got some shooting some love for you.
Oh, okay. That's it. I'm out of here. I quit. I'm out of here. I'm done. Guys, this is Chris Fagan with Talking Through the Movies. I'm here with the one and only Sean Malloy. I don't know what the hell all of that was. We were getting footage from an alternative universe where me and Sean were like totally lame. So we're here. Today is the one that I've been waiting for. We are talking about the top 10 horror movies. Yeah, as you can see, Sean is excited. Sean, what do you think? What's going on with you?
Oh shit! I've been waiting for this, Chris. I know we talked a lot of top 10s. And progressively as we go forth, for me, this gets harder and harder because I don't care if it's an Oscar winner or not. If you give me a good horror movie, you know you got a good horror movie, and I think we've talked about this before, Chris. When at the end of this movie, you feel weird. You feel like you need to watch a happy fucking movie.
Yes.
To get rid of this weird feeling you've got. I mean, you have just been like transported for the last hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on the movie, and you need to shake this just disturbing feeling that you have, and it takes a really good horror movie to do that. And there's no other movie genre that can put you in that kind of mindset. So I say let's do this. I'm ready for this.
And before we start, I'm going to talk about well, we always do a top 10 and then we do an honorable mentions. I'm going to mention it right now because I know if I don't say it right now, I'm going to forget. So you know what? No, I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to type it. I'm going to write it down.
Nope. We got to bounce back and forth.
Exactly.
I'm too impatient to hear the whole list. I want to bounce back and forth.
What was it? What was the name of that movie? There's a movie that I want to mention at the end of our list. Let's see. What was it? What was it called?
And for those of you watching, you know that feeling I'm talking about when you watch a really scary, depressing horror movie. You know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. No, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, it takes. There's a couple of movies on my list that that happened to me when the second I finished watching, if it was at the theaters, or the second I got home, or if I was already at home and I turned it off. You immediately have to throw on some cartoons. You gotta totally like counter it with something like with the wheels on the bus go round and round or something. I don't know, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about here.
Shake this bleak, disturbed feeling from your psyche. You
turn on all the lights in your house and check every room to make sure that if the monster from the movie that you saw is not sitting there waiting for you to go to sleep. But yeah, we're gonna do a little different this time, guys. We let me or Sean, when we started off, we let the first guy start off with their list, and then the next guy starts with his. This time we're gonna go through each number from 10 to 1, and we're gonna go back and forth.
We can't wait. We can't wait.
Because I immediately got to hear what Sean's is all about and what mine's. Let's you want to kick it off, or you want me to kick mine off? What are you thinking?
I'll go ahead and kick this one off, and this first one, it's a horror movie, but it's also funny, and I'm kind of starting kind of light and working my way down. Right off the top, the first Gremlins movie, that's got to be on my list. First one definitely. And for those of you who haven't seen this movie, it was one of the first horror movies it was actually funny too, but when it was scary, it was actually scary. Gremlins 1.
Oh yeah. People don't even realize that because everybody gets caught up with how cute Gizmo was, but that was you can't put Gremlins in the horror genre. I mean, come on, man, you have those little.
The first one.
The first one. The second one was clearly a comedy. That was a cash grab.
Clearly not horror.
It's like, you know how many Gizmos we sold during that movie? Yeah, we're different. I remember
that first one was not a child-friendly movie. I mean, it was funny, but it was not child-friendly. There was some horror in that movie.
I think the female lead in that movie got sexually harassed at the bar a lot, and there was all kinds of stuff going on in that first one.
She still looks kind of the same. Still, I saw a picture of her recently.
Oh yeah, she's hot.
Phoebe Cates? Is it Phoebe Cates? Yeah.
I can't remember her name at all.
All right, so Chris.
That was okay. So that was your number 10. My number 10 is actually the Return of the Living Dead, the 1985 Return of the Living Dead. That movie, it affected me so much that even though it's not the greatest zombie movie in the world, but it's the one. It was like the first one I think that I've ever seen, and it got me with the whole franchise with the Return of the Living Dead, not the Night of the Living Dead, but the Return of the Living Dead with the sludge guy. They used him more than once. The guy that was all.
You're talking about the one that came out in the mid '80s where they had the canister.
Yeah, the canister guy. The guy that came out of the canister.
Yeah, he's all blobbed. Yeah, that had a great '80s soundtrack too. Anyway.
Yeah, that one always got me. So yeah, that's mine, and still gives me those reoccurring dreams, those nightmares. But yeah, that's what do you got? What's number 9? What you got, Sean?
All right, number 9. We all know it. We all love it. It's one of those movies that kind of cross genres between a drama and a horror movie, and there are certain scenes in this movie that are very disturbing. I'm gonna go with my boy, The Sixth Sense.
Oh yeah, awesome. M. Night Shyamalan.
When he was good. When he was good. I'm sorry, he's fallen off. But anyway, another discussion, another time. Let's hear your number 9, Chris.
Number 9, I am right there. I'm right there with the. You know what? I have this. I have The Sixth Sense on my list. I do have it, so I'm gonna move it there with you, and we can then kind of talk about it a little bit. We're gonna right now, people, the guys that I follow, they call them they're starting to call Shyamalan the Sham Hammer.
The Sham Hammer.
He's like a sham. It's like he tricked the world into believing that he was the. I mean, I think it was Vogue, was it a Variety magazine? Somebody, he did an article where they asked, "Is this the new Shakespeare?" I mean, Shakespeare. Spielberg is M. Night Shyamalan the new Spielberg because he crushed it with The Sixth Sense, and people, they liked Unbreakable. I loved Unbreakable, but I'm a comic book guy.
I thought it was good too.
And there's talks of a sequel. He's like I say, he's heard about a script that made him go, it was written by somebody else, so hopefully it would be executed right. But The Sixth Sense, man, that movie was awesome. That movie scared the crap out of me. A lot of the jump scares and stuff that were in the right place. And
one of the subtle scenes, but for one of the creepiest scenes for me was when he was at a birthday party, I guess.
Oh, yeah. The girl
at the top. No. At the top of the staircase, there was some kind of dumbwaiter or something, some kind of cabinet, and he walked upstairs, and then those 3 little boys. He could hear somebody talking, like "Let me out, let me out."
Oh yeah.
And the door was actually open, so it was a ghost saying, "Let me out of here." and the three little other kids or two other kids came up and ended up shoving him into this dumbwaiter, and you just hear him screaming like murder from all the way up the stairs down to his mother. His mother ends up like pulling him out of this thing after he's passed out. But that was a very creepy scene. Very, very
Yeah,
creepy.
I mean, it wasn't. It was like to the bullies. I mean, he wasn't really locked in with anything. They didn't know what they were really doing.
It was
to
an
him.
empty passage. It was an empty passageway. You know?
Exactly. Like I guess they felt like, oh shit, well maybe he was claustrophobic or something like that. Like we really freaked him out. But oh man, yeah, you're right. That was a creepy scene. I'm thinking about the birthday party when the little girl revealed that her mother killed her by poisoning her. Like what do they call that? That sickness, that Munchausen.
Yeah, she kept pouring cleaner.
Yeah, into
her soup.
She wanted to feel valuable by taking care of her sick child. And killed her. But she got busted in the end. So good.
And she was doing it to the other one too. And if you listen to the line, they said, "Oh, and the other one's not doing so good either." Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that by the time if the second one would have died, the police would have figured that one out. But luckily, the little kid, the superhero, came in and figured it out with the ghost powers.
Did you notice that in his own apartment, the kid's own apartment, he met the girl for the first time, and he also saw an abused housewife who he thought was his mother. The thermostat started dropping. He went in the kitchen. She's like starts saying, you don't love me, and like stuck her wrists out, and she had cut her wrists and stuff. And then the kid, I'll never forget, they had a boy like turn around and face him and say, come on, let me show you. I know where my dad keeps his gun. And then he turns around and the whole back of his head is gone. It's like, oh.
And that's why I'm upset that Shyamalan isn't as popular as he used to be, because that was some great writing, man. I mean, because it doesn't take long before you're watching the news and that stuff really happened. I think I saw a story like that recently. A kid, and I think he's okay. A kid, shoots himself because of that. I mean, I'm not trying to argue about gun rights and all that other stuff, but I mean, but Locke, if you got one, if you got kids in the house, keep them
safe
away from the kids. Yeah.
Anyway, another topic.
Another top. That's another top. The other top 10, right? All right, so we're down to what, number 8. What do you want? For my number 8, I have Nightmare on Elm Street. I should have definitely gone higher on mine, but that's the order that I have it. No real particular order. Nightmare on Elm Street freaked me the hell out, man.
That's creative kills. I mean, they just. I think that they kind of had the freedom to just kind of go wild with this series because it was all in a dream, So
anything could happen. Yeah.
Anything you wanted to happen, you could make it happen. He was always so creepy, and he was always just horrible. Like he was never a good guy at any point. Not even a flicker. He was always just horrible. Everything he did was horrible.
Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, man. I mean that execution of that character was oh man, it was epic, and because it was in the dream world, and I think this speaks to why Fred Krueger, the character in Nightmare on Elm Street, is so popular and timeless, was because in reality, after watching that movie, and you're thinking you're okay, you just watched a good movie, but when you go to bed for the real and you go to sleep and you actually have a Freddy Krueger dream and you wake up, that creeped people out. And it made the myth of Freddy Krueger more tangible, more tangible. And oh man,
for you,
and I think that's why Freddy Krueger became such a phenomenon in the '80s.
Yeah.
People were having real dreams and thought Freddy was out there. He was he was almost becoming real. But that's what's your number 8?
All right, so my number 8. Let's see here. Okay, I had an oldie, but certainly a masterpiece of the horror genre. We have Jack Nicholson and Stanley Kubrick, I believe, in The Shining.
The Shining.
And honestly, this is a really scary, eerie, slowly building up movie. And almost you can say it's almost not a horror movie, but it is. It's got to be in that category.
Especially at the end.
Yeah. But my favorite scene in that movie is when he's starting to mentally break down because of the isolation in the hotel, and he goes into the ballroom, and he's just like, he kind of puts his head down on the bar. It's empty, the whole ballroom, and he's just like, I give my soul for a drink. And he looks up, and the bartender is standing there, and he's just like, just kind of lays back, and he has this little conversation with the bartender, and he's like, got a 20 in my pocket. I made you spend it. He's like, your credit's no good here, sir. And he just like gives him whatever he wants. And anyway, awesome scene. The Shining. Have you seen The Shining? What do you think about The Shining, Chris?
I think I remember that scene. Wasn't that bartender? That's when he amped Jack Nicholson up the. He
Yeah.
showed he called him out. He called him out to kill the other guy that
Yeah.
did that with that racist comment. I was like, that bartender's so racist.
Well, see, the bartender was kind of the because remember he said something along the lines of the bartender says, "Well, you've always been here, sir." You know,
Yeah.
like he's like the overseer. He's not Satan, but he's the basically that guy was implying that Jack has always been here. He will always be here. He's got a job to do. He needs to just go ahead and do it, and he needs to be content with it.
Yeah.
And then it shows a picture in the background, if you noticed at the end, where it shows a picture of Jack with the rest of the hotel staff in black and white, like he always actually has been at the hotel. So it's kind of
Damn.
there's Stephen King.
I didn't remember that. I don't remember that scene. I have to watch that again. But yeah, The Shining freaked me out, man. With the whole
Little twins, blood.
Here's Johnny thing. I think they said they redid that scene like a bunch of times.
It's the Guinness Book most takes to get one scene right. You know, here's Johnny. They had to do it something like 400 or 500 times. Look it up. Guinness Book most takes
like,
for one scene.
Why? But I mean,
Because Kubrick was a perfectionist. He's just like, yeah, it's good. Let's do another dozen of those. Let's you know. And this
so you're saying that they destroyed that many doors, or that's what they just cut and it's just the whole.
No, after the door's been destroyed, he sticks his head and he's like, here's Johnny, and like everybody's seen that, knows that here's Johnny thing.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, guys, this was before you had digital cutting and splicing. So there was a guy who had to go through these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cuts.
Expensive film.
Yeah. So anyway, that's mine, The Shining.
What do we at the next one? This is back in my Blockbuster days when I was working in the video store. A movie that pissed me off because people who don't know film or don't understand, like, I guess an artist's direction or whatever, would complain to me all the time about this movie. The Blair Witch Project.
Mm.
When I was working for Blockbuster, you do not know how many times this movie that was made for like what $3 and made millions of dollars.
Yeah. It was a sensation.
It was the first of its kind. It was like it's one that launched the whole found footage horror movie.
People thought it was real. They
marketed it that way. They thought people kind of really they really thought it was real. People didn't really, because this is before the internet.
The internet was huge. Yeah.
So people didn't really get it, because if it was in the middle of the internet age and whatnot, we would have been able to look it all up. But I remember giving a refund to people who rented that movie so many times because people thought that it was a bootleg copy or it was a bad copy. It's like, I want my money back for this. Like, what's wrong? Well, the camera kept bouncing around, and I didn't like that. Like, was something wrong with it? Like, it felt like somebody was recording it in the movie theater. This is like a bootlegger that you just sold. And I remember one time I got so fed up with it. I was like, I had to explain what it was, the whole found footage thing and whatnot, that what the director was trying to do. And one guy that he put the movie down, he was like, I watched like 10 minutes of this and it's horrible because the camera bouncing around. When I explained what the director was trying to do, he picked the tape back up and was like, oh, wait. Oh, I'm gonna go home and watch that. And then he watched it and he came back and he loved it. So now found footage is done to death now. So now it's
originator.
But Blair Witch was the first one. And that scene, the part that creeped me out, not the fact that all the noises and stuff that were happening in the background and all that stuff, that all was scary. I'll tell you what really creeped me out about that movie was when they mentioned how the witch, I guess, when she punished the kids and she would have them facing the wall, and then in the end when all
split second
that split second when you saw one of her friends in the corner. And he was just facing the wall, and she's calling him, and he won't respond to her, and then something hits her and knocks her down, and the camera just flickering, and that creeped me out, man. I was afraid we were gonna see I'm kind of glad we didn't see her, because not seeing her, I guess it made it that much more scary. But I was waiting for it. I was the whole time I'm waiting for it and waiting when we didn't get to see her. It creeped me out even more. The subtle stuff is what always gets me. But what's next on yours?
All right, so this movie And before I go into it, a little background story I got to divulge. So when I went and saw this, I went by myself to the theater, and as I bought my ticket, and as I'm going into the theater, a group of teenagers walks out and completely fucking spoils the end of the movie for me.
Oh shit!
I was when you're coming out of the movie and you see, for you guys, when you're leaving the fucking movie, don't talk about the ending of the movie when you're walking past people that are coming into the movie theater. Shut up until you get to your cars or out in the parking lot away from other people.
I can't believe that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, guys, but I can't stand that. That really pissed me off. Because, so this movie, and this is probably my favorite Nicole Kidman movie. This movie came out in, I think, 2002, and it's one of those movies that there's almost zero special effects in this movie. It is all the, what's the word I'm looking for?
All practical effects.
Yeah, but there's not even really effects in it. It's just them implying things.
So it's all atmosphere, right?
Yeah, atmosphere. You hear sounds. You think something is going on, and then they turn it around and twist the whole damn thing around on you at the end, and they have this huge, shocking, twisting end. And I can't spoil it for you guys. So Nicole Kidman with The Others. And I don't know if you've seen this movie, Chris.
Yeah, you're right about that twist. I usually would say that a movie that old, if you haven't seen it by now, you're not going to see it. But you know what? Let's not spoil that one. I would encourage people to see the Others, because that twist was that made Shamhammer look like that twist was awesome.
Man, that is an old-fashioned ghost story. I mean, there's no I mean, it's all sounds, atmosphere, and I'm telling you, I don't care who you are. If you can sit down there and watch that without jolting once or twice, praise to you. Good luck. I jolted 3 or 4 times during that movie, and you know, I watch a lot of horror movies, but it's always the jolts that get everybody. It's not like the scary-looking monster. It's the sudden jolt that everybody will jump in their
what's
seats.
Lurking in the shadows kind of thing.
Yeah, atmosphere.
Yeah, I almost had that one on my list too, and I feel like I really should. I'm glad you mentioned it, because I feel like I should have put it on my list.
Do you remember the scene where they were up in, not the attic, maybe it was the attic, and one of them goes into a cabinet with like a chest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a vanity mirror thing, and they get inside it because they think somebody's chasing them, and all of a sudden you can hear the character, and she starts slowing down her breathing, and all of a sudden you can hear another individual in the cabinet with them breathing, and it's so creepy the way they do it. She's like, and she shuts up, and then all of a sudden you hear another individual, and I can't give it justice, guys, but this creeps the shit out of you the way they do this scene.
No, the scene that got me the most was the piano one.
Oh yeah, the door slamming. They hear the piano playing, and she walks up to it, and they slam the door right in your face right before she gets to the piano.
And like, and no spoilers, but when you're looking at that scene, you're thinking, she's like, yeah, she's really. When you figure out what was really going on,
it was like,
it's a whole other reason to be freaked out by that. Like oh wow, but
I didn't see it. It was in front of us the whole time.
It was in your face the whole time, and you're not gonna figure it out until you watch it. But yeah, that's what's next? What we say? We did Blair Witch, and we did.
So I just did. What is it? Number 7. That was my number 7.
What's your number 6?
What's my number 6?
Yeah.
This is a movie that probably 90% of you guys, maybe even almost 100% of you guys, have probably never seen. And it's a movie with Rutger Hauer in it. He was the guy from the main bad guy from Blade Runner. He did a lot of B movies. You probably don't even know who Rutger Hauer is. But anyway, this was a not widely seen, but it was in the movies. And fortunately, I got to go see it in the movies. And I was really young when it came out, and this was totally, completely inappropriate for me to see. But it was a movie, and you need it's epic. It's called Split Second.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
So I can go ahead and talk about it for a second anyway, because most of you're This came out in like 1992. So basically, I forget what city this takes place in, but I think it's in the UK somewhere. So basically what's happened, it's set a little bit in the future. There's been some severe floodings. And I think actually the entire movie takes place at night. So it's all very dark, and it's very dim and grim, and the whole atmosphere is just very seedy and dark. I mean, there's no happy moments in this movie. And so basically this guy's a cop. And in the movie, his partner was killed by this thing that they had an encounter with in one of the tunnels below the city, and then all of a sudden, he finds out there's other cases where people has been having their chest rips out and stuff like that. So he makes a connection that okay, this may be and he got maimed by this thing, and you never get a good look at it until the very end of the movie, and this thing, dude. Okay, so if I'm on the camera, right, and I'm Rutger Hauer, so behind me would be this thing's belly button, maybe. Mm-hmm. And it's a man shape. It's very dark, and it's very quick, and it blurts across the screen very quickly. But
that's what she said.
Dude, yeah, so there's a scene where he chases this thing into a subway train that's abandoned, and he looks into it, and it's completely black in the train. He can't see anything, so he's just kind of looking around, and he's like, oh, to hell with that. And he kind of turns around, and so the camera's looking at me, right? And all of a sudden, this thing walks up from behind him, and you just get a sense of scale of how big this thing really is. It's where its belly button would be is above this guy's head. And it reaches over and puts his hand on his face and pulls his sunglasses off of his head in a real slow fashion, and I'm telling you, that movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. So check it out, Split Second.
Split Second. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
There's only really one cheesy moment in the movie, and knowing you, Chris, if you do watch this movie, you will spot it immediately and be like, okay, this is the cheesy shit he was talking about.
Okay.
On that, great.
What's my next one? Poltergeist.
Yes.
That was one of the ones that freaked me out early in my childhood because it had the little girl. Anything that has to do with it, like a little girl, whether they're ghosts or whatnot, it freaks me out, man. Carol Ann, who I think in real life died at a real young age, but she still got to do all three movies. She was in Poltergeist 1, 2, and 3. And I heard the reboot, the remake of it wasn't that well received. I heard that people thought it kind of sucked. But that movie was awesome, man. The whole thing about the house being above the graveyard and everything, and that whole cast, they were awesome, man.
Do you know little trivia about this movie, guys? And I heard that apparently this is true. So I don't know if you remember, Chris, the scene where the bodies are coming up into the pool and they're in the water. Apparently, somebody screwed up when they were doing prop obtaining, and apparently those were not fake.
No way.
Look it up, dude. So apparently the skeletons that they put in that pool were not dummy skeletons. Those were real bodies. And because apparently they were on such a tight schedule that they could not get the quality replica ones in time. And so somebody thought a great idea that they use real skeletons for this pool scene.
That they defile real dead people.
Those are real skeletons in the pool. And another thing, I don't know if you remember the fuzzy television.
Yeah, the
snow is just like snow.
Mm-hmm.
I had nightmares about that crap as a kid. You know, just a TV in a dark room, and you could hear subtle little children laughing and screaming in the back of the. Oh my God! It gave me nightmares. Nightmares.
Yeah, that's something about that's called white noise. It's something about white noise that makes you. And there was here honorable mention, White Noise. That's actually a movie. Michael Keaton, man. That movie was freaky, man.
I looked up that subject when that movie. You know, the audio recordings people get white noise. It's so fucking creepy.
Can you hear the ghost in the white noise?
Oh,
like, I hope not. I'm kind of glad we went to digital with our television because of that.
Jesus. Oh, but, off the topic. Do you know what causes the white those artifacting on the TVs? Totally off subject, but true.
No.
Background radiation from the Big Bang.
Oh, of course.
Of course you did. Of course you knew that shit.
Oh man.
All right, so
what you
what
got
number
next?
you at? So we Poltergeist.
I just did Poltergeist, and
So that was your number 6.
yeah, my 6-1, yeah.
All right. So my number 5 is a multi-movie. Just because I couldn't make up my mind on which one of this series. And everybody loves this series. Everybody knows this series. It's been done to death. And every one of the horror movies that you see with a main killer in it, they all do one thing. What do all the ladies do when they're being chased in these movies, Chris?
Well, after losing their virginity, they always fall down.
That's right. They always fall. And we get a lot of them in this one. So we come to Friday the 13th with Jason Voorhees and his psychotic mother. You know, a lot of people will say that, oh, you know, like really film purists will say, oh, Friday the 13th won. That was the best one. I'm sorry, guys.
No.
I don't think so. Whatever. I found the first one to be kind of boring. I like it when Jason gets in this shit. And the reason I like when Jason gets into this shit, of all, or in the top echelon of killers in movies, his kills were so brutal. I mean, I had nightmares. Again, I had nightmares about this guy. You could not kill him. You could slow him down. You could run from him. He knows where you're going. He always takes the shortcuts to get there. He never runs. He just kind of like slowly walks through the woods. You know, you're not going to get away from this guy. I had so many nightmares about running and jumping over fences, and everybody runs upstairs instead of running out of the fucking house when they're running from this guy. It's ridiculous. But anyway, Friday the 13th. Everybody's copying that shit. Brutal kills, tons of them, over the top. Jason.
Yeah, Friday the 13th was further down in my list, but I just moved it up right under Poltergeist, so I'm going to talk about that one too. And I 100% agree with you. I found the first one, decent and okay and scary, but to me it was kind of dated. I started with the 80s Jason, and the one when they finally perfected him, when they got I forgot who was the actor who played the Jason the most and the best. What was his name?
His name was, he was a stunt guy. His name was Kane Hodder. And
he played Jason during the Freddy vs. Jason as well, because they wanted to at least get the guy who was the most iconic Jason, and he pulled Jason off perfectly when they perfected Jason's breathing, that whole tilting of the head thing, all these little things that Kane made perfect for Jason. That's the Jason that I like. I mean, the mother was creepy too.
I don't mean to steal your thunder, but I don't want us to get crap about this. So unfortunately, they did not let him play Jason in Freddy.
I heard that was him. That wasn't him.
No, it wasn't him.
Totally wrong.
However, you are right, because the guy who played him totally ripped off Kane Hodder's
head tilting.
Because
that pretty much became Jason's mannerisms and stuff. Yeah. I thought, okay, so I gotta go back, because I remember looking at the listening to the director's commentary for Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah,
maybe it was a different guy.
Unfortunately, it was a different guy. To my knowledge, I may be wrong.
Well, I know they brought the mother back for Freddy vs. Jason. She was older and everything.
Did they?
Oh yeah, she was older and the mother came back, and it was Freddy was messing with Jason's head in his dreams.
Oh yeah.
I want you to come back, Jason, and go to Elm Street.
Yeah, that's right. And he and he swole back up. Yeah, that guy scared me more than Freddy Krueger for some reason. And I think it's because Freddy, I don't know, it's like if Jason got his hands on you, he would rip your arms or legs off, and he would smash your head. Like he was just so big and brutal, Frankenstein. Like I remember a scene where he gets a guy in the bathroom, and he pushes his head up against the tile wall, and he does this, and like you just see his head like slowly caving in, and then it's like, oh. I
remember a lady that was about to go into her car, and Jason caught her mid, like between sitting down and preparing to crouch down, and slammed the door. And you know how the cops are always telling you, watch your head. And so the door caught her between the car and the car door, and it squished her head in. And I mean, Jason. I think the thing that Freddie's gonna go down as probably the more
Creative.
popular. But it's almost like Tupac and Biggie. Like there's always a
Mhm.
tie, or depending on
That's
who
a
you're
good
talking
debate.
to.
Freddie versus Jason.
This is like
Tupac
Tupac
and
and
Biggie,
Biggie.
or
Because when one conversation you be like Biggie over Tupac, and another conversation you like Tupac over Big, and it's gonna go back and forth like that with Jason and Freddie. But one thing you can say about Freddie was, he played with his food. He messed with
yeah,
your
that's a
head.
good way to put it.
Jason was straight to the point. When like you said, when he caught you, it was it. He wasn't gonna mess with you. He wasn't gonna torture you. He was gonna kill you, and that was it. I mean, he was ripping your arms off, and he was gonna beat you to death with it. But at least you knew that it was gonna be quick. You knew that if
Hopefully.
I was gonna get killed by one of those two guys, if I had no choice in the matter, if I could have a choice, I would bring Voorhees, because at least he'll make it quick. Jason, Freddy will mess with your head before you die. It's always sucked, which probably made him the reason why he was more popular. But yeah, that's Fred. Yeah, no, Jason was that's my dude, man. Well, not that Jason. It goes to space crap, but
No. And unfortunately, that actually was Kane too. And I know he got paid for that role. But we're gonna completely forget Jason X ever happened.
they tried to make it funny. There was some funny lines, I guess, but
He's been upgraded.
yeah.
Like,
Is he still there? Well, why don't you go take a peek?
why don't you just stick your head out and take a peek?
And you knew what they were trying to do. You knew they were trying to call out the stupid stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember?
But they were doing. They were still. I mean, I don't know. The execution.
You know what the cheesiest line in that entire movie was? So he wakes up. He kills a bunch of people. They get him in the control room. And the guy's actually standing in the room with this guy, yelling to his friends, "It's okay. He just wanted his machete back."
Yeah, they had that in the trailer. I remember how stupid that was. It was funny as hell in the trailer. But when you watch the whole movie, it's like,
Get the fuck out of the room.
These jokes are just like flaming out, man. Like, oh no, it's okay. He's cool. He just wanted his machete back. I think we're about to play spades now. Yeah. But the end of that movie was kind of cool. How they found a whole new planet, a whole new crystal lake.
Turns into a comet.
Oh yeah, you just happened to find in all of outer space. You found another planet with a crystal lake, and you found there was some there happened to be some teenagers there. So
what's that urban legend rule in the Jason movies? If you're having sex and you're underage or you're doing drugs, you're gonna die in those movies. That's just it.
Yeah.
Getting high, having sex, you're done.
If you're in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, you don't be an asshole boyfriend, because you're gonna die, and then the other guy's gonna steal your girl because she's gonna survive. But what's next? I got after Friday the 13th. Now I don't know if you've seen this one, and I've seen a lot of horror movies, man. A lot of vampire movies. Vampire movies are my shit. And you know what? I didn't put this in this, and I'm gonna honorable mention it now because I might forget later. The Lost Boys is gonna be in my honorable mentions, but for my vampire movie,
I think I know what it is. Go for it.
I doubt it, but you're probably thinking Bram Stoker's Dracula, but it's not. I'm gonna go left field on it. It's an indie film.
I think I know what you're talking about.
My movie is Let the Right One In.
That's it. That's what you're thinking? That's it. I swear to God. Yeah, I have that on my list. I tell you. I thought I was the only one who'd seen that shit.
Movie was my jam. I watched this movie. The kills were all awesome. The fact that it was a little girl.
That pool scene at the end. The pool scene
was it was the icing on the cake, because you saw her kill. You saw this happen, that happened. You saw her get angry. You saw. I like the fact that they kind of explained the whole. The reason behind the myth about vampires, and the reason why it's called Let the Right One In. I mean, this was a cold-blooded killer. She was probably for all we knew thousands of years old, but because she looked like a little girl, she still kind of could act like a little girl, and then she's dating a little boy. And and what she's asking is
some of this.
What she's asking is, can I come in the house? And she has to be invited.
Yeah, she'll start bleeding.
Yeah, I mean, he asked he asked really appropriate questions that I don't think a lot of us really asked, and or no one has ever that I've seen put it on a film. What happens if you come in when you're not invited?
Yeah.
And and she just steps in, and I'm thinking, Oh, okay, that was bullshit. So this whole time, you were just bullshitting us about being invited in. So there is no invisible force field. You can actually come in if you want. But since you're in this human, I guess like in all nature, even though you're the apex predator, there still has to be some kind of a line of defense. And I guess in the vampire world, being invited into the house is what is our only defense, one of our only defenses. And she walks in, and the whole blood scene and the fact that her body was like just totally attacking her, and it freaked me. I was like, wow, that was a real, because I've never seen it before, ever on film. I've heard, you've heard the consequences, but I never saw it until that, and that whole movie was awesome. But you said you saw, did you have
Oh,
this on your list?
yeah, dude, check it out. Look.
Oh yeah, I saw the list, but
Yeah, it
was
says
it on your honorable
right.
mentions or was it on your real list?
Let the right one in. It
Yeah.
was on my honorable mentions.
Hey, I love the American version was
With
okay. Chloe,
Chloe
I mean Chloe,
Moritz.
I mean that girl is beautiful,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry, when I saw that they were making the American version of this, I was hoping, I was tweeting, texting, emailing the people who were making. I was like, get the girl from the original one to at least like come on set and guide Chloe or whatnot. She's a good actress in her own, but that girl from, I forgot what country that was, but
I
was it
think she's
Sweden?
Norwegian or Swedish.
Norway? Yeah, there was no Norway. I don't know what it was, man. Everything, like
I
she's a
think you're
grown
the
woman now.
I think you're the only other person I've ever met in my life that's actually seen that movie. But I knew what you were going to say. I knew what you were going to say. As soon as you said, "Oh, it's an indie movie," I'm like, "Oh, he picked the same one I did on my list." And I'm like, because I didn't know anybody else had seen that movie. But he's right, guys. As far as vampire movies go, this is one that you probably have never heard of, and you have to deal with some subtitles. But if you were a moviegoer, you will put that shit aside, sit back, and enjoy the vampire movie. It's epic, and they don't play it off like a typical
It's almost like a
vampire.
drama in a way. It's
Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
Thumbs up.
no offense to the yeah, thumbs up on that one. 'Cause no offense to the Chloe one, but it didn't hold a candle to the what it was based on.
If you
Um,
haven't seen the original, that one will be good. But if you've seen the original, you'll be like, ah, yeah.
it's almost like the girl with the dragon tattoo. I mean, they only made one American version one, and it doesn't look like they're going to continue the story if they're trying to get Mr. Bond to come back. But
He wants
but
too much money.
he wants too much money. But screw it. The original versions of the girl with the dragon tattoo were better. Is better. They now all three, and they're all out. The original let the right one in is better than the American version. I don't always say that because I'm a typical American, and it's about America. Yeah, we invented Hollywood. This is our genre. We make the better films. No, Chloe. No offense to Chloe. I love her. I love her. Kick ass. She's my girl. But beautiful and everything. But no. Let the right one in is way better than let me in. Um, so so after that, let's move on to the next one. I'm at, where we're at, our top three.
Top
Rounding
four.
it off.
I'm at 4.
You're at four. Oh, so
Uh,
what was yours? Well, I said let the right one. Oh, see, I'm sorry. We're on yours. What's your next one?
so I couldn't. Again, I'm very unmake my mindish, and so but they're the same movie. So for my number 4, I've got the original Alien and the sequel Aliens, and they're very different movie. But the first one I would have to say very much a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
They have no defense against this thing. They're not killing it. They don't get to kill it. Matter of fact, they never do kill it. They just kind of banish it out to space at the end of this movie. They have absolutely no defense against this thing in the movie, and they know they can't kill this thing. I mean, they're screwed. The whole movie, the whole crew is screwed. But the big thing I love about this movie is that, and I could probably say this with about all Ridley Scott movies. The guys he hires to build the sets for him, like, you believe that you're on a spaceship or on a space station. Like, and the cool thing about Alien, it's like a retro future. Like, if you look at and a matter of fact, they came out with a new video game, Alien Isolation, and it has that same vibe. So, like, if you look at their computers And in the future, like, it looks like these old CRT fuzzy ass TVs playing VHS tapes, even though it's set hundreds of years in the future, and everything is click, click, blinking lights and push buttons and crap, and everything looks like it's like an insane
Their
asylum.
internet is dial up.
Yeah. But it's so believable. Like, it's incredible. So Alien and Aliens. Those are mine.
Yeah. The whole scene where the alien was coming out of the guy's stomach. The whole yeah, that was my jam. Oh man. So okay, so we're now at the number 3. So I said let the right one in was my 4. So my number 3, or my top 3, and you know what? I'm looking at my list now.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna make this one my 3rd one. I did have it as my 2nd, but I'm gonna make it my 3rd one. I'm gonna call it the American Werewolf in London.
Oh, damn! I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
The effects on it and everything.
He transforms.
Yeah, the whole hand going up and getting bigger and bigger. I remember trying to do that, like the nails and everything. When he transformed, it was gross. I think his best friend they were on a hiking trail.
Yeah, they were backpacking.
Ripped up, and the sequel was totally a sham compared to the first one. But the whole mythology of it, where if you're a werewolf and whatnot.
Was it London?
Yeah, they were in London. They were backpacking in London, and they got
the sequel. I thought it was the sequel. They were in London. First
one the first one was in London. The second one I think was here in the States.
Okay, all right.
But they were trying to be more funny with it and whatnot. The girl that he slept with, he killed her, and on the sequel, and her ghost was all pissed off, he's trying to talk to another girl, and she's like, "Oh, well, don't sleep with him, girl, because he'll fucking kill you and rip your head off and all that." And and only he can hear her. But I remember them trying to make it funny and whatnot. But the original one wasn't that Stephen King as well? American Werewolf in London.
Honestly, I don't remember.
I remember that with the friend that that got killed was trying to warn him and whatnot. His ghost was telling him to. It kept haunting him and whatnot. He just.
I love those kind of movies, man. Yeah. What was that one? The Idle Hands. And then
Jessica Alba's
the bottle stuck in his head.
Oh man, that was funny as hell.
And he was like smoking weed through his inhaler the whole movie.
Yeah, that reminds me of what American Werewolf, the sequel was more about, trying to be funny with it and whatnot. But yeah, American Werewolf was really creepy to me.
All right, yeah, that was a good movie. I'll have to check that out again. I haven't seen that in probably 15, 20 years maybe.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that means I'm at my number 3.
Yep.
So this movie is one of those movies that the special effects were so creepy. And the guy, I believe his name is Rob Bottin, the guy who did the special effects in this movie. He's the same guy that worked on RoboCop, and we all know how badass RoboCop looks. And this movie came out before RoboCop, and this is one of the movies that put Rob Bottin on the map. John Carpenter's The Thing, and it's got Kurt Russell in it. That movie is so bleak, so disgusting. So again, one of those movies that you just feel weird after you watch the end of the movie, and it doesn't have a happy ending at all. It's one of those horror movies where nobody wins, everybody dies, and it just leaves you with that, and you're just like, oh, everybody died in that movie. There was no happy ending.
Yeah.
You gotta watch some Care Bears, Rainbow Bright and shit.
I guess that's why they had to do a prequel instead of a sequel on that one.
Yeah, everybody died. So that's my number 3.
So we're hitting it up on the coming up to number 2 and the number 1, and rounding it off. My number 2 was The Ring, based on the Japanese movie Ringu. But and it was one of those movies where I saw it in the movie theater. The trailer creeped me out. Everything creeped me out about this movie. It was such a creepy movie.
That sound.
The sound. Yeah, that was Grudge that made that sound.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was Grudge.
Oh shit! Sorry guys.
I didn't like Grudge as much, but I didn't realize that a lot of Japanese horror movies they usually have the same kind of a ghost, a female ghost with the long black hair with the white on the face and whatnot. So all their ghost movies have those similar looks. But the Ring movie, I remember seeing it in the theater. I remember being totally creeped out.
That scene in the closet, the chick when they find her body and her mouth is just like
that was the first time that I think one of the first times that they used that jump scare with sounds more than just what you were seeing on the screen.
Her head, like her mouth was open.
Her mouth was open, and all of a sudden it's like the mother was like, "I found her in the closet." And the second they cut to that closet scene, the sound effect in the background, that high pitched that frequency, and it made you go like, "God damn, what am I hearing?" What
her face was all distorted and shit.
She could hardly concentrate on her face because her ears were being attacked. And yeah, that was a scary ass.
Wasn't there like a big thing on the all over the news about them putting night vision cameras in the movie theaters to catch everybody's like when they showed the rotten chick in the closet.
They still kind of do that. They want to see people's reaction. That's probably why YouTube reactions are so popular now. Yeah, because the news. Yeah, they would put night vision on everybody.
I remember seeing that on the news. Everybody, oh my god! Like everybody jumped simultaneously. That shit was.
See how this couple's. See how the boyfriend pretends like he's coughing so he doesn't have to see the ghost. But that movie freaked me out. I remember when I got home. I was living with my mom still at the time. I got home, went to my room, and I had one of those big, remember the TVs had the big, before they were flat. I had an old TV like that, right in front of me, in front of my bed and everything. I'm sitting there, I'm stuck in my room, and I'm looking at this TV, hoping that it doesn't just pop on.
Get away from me, bitch!
Oh man,
like a scary movie when that chick fights the girl coming out of the TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Sydney, come on, we got Sydney. Another little white girl that fell in the well. But yeah, man, that movie freaked me out. What about you? What's your number 2?
All right. Everybody's seen this movie. My number 2 in this movie is probably shit. I'd have to go as far as to say, and not my number 1 for me personally, but I would say that this movie scares more people in this particular topic than any movie in the movie history. I'll give you 2 guesses.
Showgirls.
So every time someone does an activity, they think of this movie. It still scares people to this day. 2 guesses. Come on.
Paranormal Activity.
No, come on. Serious guess. This is an older movie, but it started the blockbuster tent movies. It was the biggest blockbuster ever at the time it came out, and people are
Jaws.
still. Yes. My boy, the original Jaws. This movie still scares the living shit out of people. I don't care if they admit it or not. Every time you get in that beach water, I don't give a shit. You are going to think of this movie whether you want to or not.
Well, hell, there was just a recent surfing competition where the guy was attacked by a shark on live camera. He fought under the water.
Man, he needs to be in those thug compilations, though. He fought that shit off like a boss.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Shark, you get attacked by a shark, punch him in the back, and just, call it a day. That dude was a badass.
Man, like a boss.
Yeah, Jaws was the shit, man. That movie has been copied so many times. Hell, Ace Ventura when he fell into the shark. Oh,
that's not Snowflake.
That's not Snowflake.
That's not Snowflake.
I mean there's even my favorite indie comedy, Clerks. They even talked about that. He's got a can of salsa dip, and he's got the salsa chip going down the square, the triangle chip. Dun. He said, "Salsa shark. We're gonna need a bigger boat." Man goes into salsa. So man goes into tank. Tank goes into salsa. Sharks into salsa. Our shark. But oh man, Jaws, man, to this day it can't be imitated.
I can't believe that movie is actually PG. Like there is first of all,
well, all the kills they just show people just kind of disappearing. They didn't really
No. We have, and look it up, don't take my word for it, we have entire leg amputations where the leg becomes severed and falls to the bottom and bounces off the bottom. We've got their eyes ripped out of their skulls, and we have children getting killed in this movie. I mean, and we also have a scene where the thing bursts through the back window of the boat after it kills the older guy, Quinn, and there is meat hanging off its teeth while it's chomping at Brody. There's actually tissue hanging off of its teeth. That movie, I don't give a shit how old it is. That movie still scares people getting into the water.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And the whole I guess the rating system still is not perfect. There whatever reasons that they were able to get away with a PG versus
Get out of here.
I mean, I don't know, but you're right. Yeah, today that movie would be rated R.
Yeah, do you remember that opening scene where it shows a chick swimming at night in the water, and you hear that, whoa, and she's getting dragged back and forth, and you hear the after she gets tagged the initial time?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
they said that Richard Dreyfuss, I guess the Marine specialist guy in the movie, he walked into them filming that scene and he got physically sick. Like he made him nauseous and throw up watching her scream and gurgle like that, getting swung. Apparently she was in a tank and they had her hooked up to some kind of rail system and they were just pushing her back and forth underwater, but it looked damn good. But anyway, Jaws.
Yeah, and I heard they had that shark, mechanical shark, was a bitch to get to work, but
Bruce.
They finally got him to work enough, I guess, to get to finish the movie. But yeah,
it worked perfect. Not seeing it as much
made it better. Yeah, you're right. Because I guess like you said, they wanted to show more of the shark, but then it was like, well, let's Alfred Hitchcock this bitch.
Let's imply.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, she went into the water. It's been 30 minutes. She's not. Where'd she go? Jaws must have got her. Hey, let's move on. But what was it? We're down to what, the number one?
My number one. You're a number two. What's your number two?
My number two was I already mentioned it. I said what I said didn't I?
Was it The Ring?
Yeah, The Ring. That was
that's right. Okay, so it's your number one.
All right, so we're down to the number one, and the number one for me. Now, I'm not saying it's the scariest movie of all time. It's not. It really isn't. But it's the one that affected me the most because I was at the age and everything, and I had a bunch of toys. But there would be Child's Play, the first one. Child's Play 1. That movie creeped the hell out of me, man. Everybody always talks about how The Exorcist is the best movie of ever and whatnot. And you know what? I didn't even find The Exorcist all that bad. You know why? Because I'll tell you why. I saw all the spoofs of The Exorcist. I saw Repossessed before I saw The Exorcist. And so by the time I actually got around to The Exorcist, it was just funny to me because I'm thinking about all that stuff, the times it's been spoofed. But Child's Play, to this day, people are freaked out about whether or not their toys are coming to life while they're sleeping. And
so for you guys who don't know what Child's Play is, Chucky 1, the first Chucky movie.
The very first Chucky, yeah, not this Chucky in space crap that they're trying to do and all that. But actually, the last Child's Play movie that they just came out with that went straight to DVD, that was meant to go to theaters. But I guess they couldn't get the funding. And hold on, we've been talking about horror a lot. I haven't, checked my surroundings in a while, so I'm making sure that nobody's in here with me.
No seed of Chucky on you.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. Yeah. Okay, wash this right off. But Chucky, yeah, it just kind of fell apart with all those sequels and whatnot. Part 2 was okay, but after that, it just started to fall apart. Part 1 was scary, though. I mean, the scene, the little feet petter running around. The mother didn't know what the hell was going on. It's like, just throw the damn doll away. That's what's going on. The bullet scenes where Chucky would get shot and he would see the doll take a bullet like.
And he had that, Steven, is it Steven Dorff or Brad Dorff? He was all like, like he had that scream.
Oh, the way they shook the doll at you. Yeah.
You bitch.
Yeah, the whole thing, everything about that movie was crazy, man. Chucky was funny.
They had a creepy scene in that movie, and it was just very subtle. But as a little kid seeing this, well, 2 scenes. First of all, the scene where it's talking to the woman, she's like, be quiet, and she's looking at it, and she turns it over. There's no batteries.
Yeah, I was just about to mention
batteries. No batteries in this.
And then Chucky reveals that he's alive.
You bitch! Yeah.
The second
she kill you
and checks the batteries. And she opens the panel up, and then Chucky's head spins all the way around. Hi, I'm Chucky. But I'm like, oh shit, this thing's real. She freaks out. Yeah. And she drops it on the floor, and it
goes under the couch.
I was just like, oh shit!
Don't stick your fucking face under the couch. I was like,
oh man,
don't do that.
And that last scene, what was it? When Andy was about to
Friends till the end.
Yeah, well, this is
This
the
is
end,
the end,
friend.
friend.
We're like, oh man, he burst. And I'll tell you what, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but a lot of people didn't didn't rent it. But if you have a chance, if I don't know, have you seen the latest Chucky movie, the one that went out in DVD,
What was it called?
The Curse of Chucky?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember it now. I just remember the seed of Chucky and the bride of Chucky and all that.
Well, they kind of wrapped up why all the how because you know how it kind of fell apart, how from the first movie Chucky movie to the Bride of Chucky and the Seed of Chucky, how it
Yeah,
kind of just it was totally separate. It
goofy.
almost felt like a different universe. The Curse of Chucky, they tried to come back to the original, subtle, scary. Is this doll really doing this stuff or not? Kind of things. They had a lot of good, well, even in the characters, the character development. You have
Was it Dwarf? Was this the original Dwarf
Oh
guy?
yeah. Oh, he even returned to act as himself, not as the doll, before he
What the
became
hell
the
was his name? What was his Ray?
Charles Lee Ray. Yeah,
Yeah.
Charles Lee Ray even made an appearance. That was a good movie. I mean, I really think that they should have took a chance on that, and I guess the producers didn't feel like it was worth it. But they should have took a chance on that and put it in theaters because they went back to the first Chucky to when he was just kind of like Jaws, like is this shit really happening? Did that doll do this thing and all that stuff and whatnot? But the way they came from that to tying in all the things I guess you didn't like about Chucky with the whole Bride of Chucky stuff and not saying that the Bride of Chucky isn't in it, or anything, but it tied it all together that this was after the whole Bride and the Seed of Chucky thing. But I guess I don't know. He decided to go back to his original killing style. So that was real. That was real good. And in the cuts, there's like a Marvel kind of a cut scene kind of a thing. And I'm not gonna tell you, if you see it, you're gonna love it. Because now I know you haven't seen it yet because you don't know what I'm talking about on this at the end of this movie. You will love how everything got tied together and wrapped up in a nice little bow. If you watch this movie, The Curse of Chucky, check that out. You will not
I
be
will
disappointed.
have to watch it. I'm a Chucky fan.
Mm-hmm.
All
That's
right.
my number one.
All right. So as Chris explained, when we give our numbers assigned to these movies, this is just our personal opinions. This really, we're not saying, oh, we're not being artsy fartsy about it and saying, oh, these are the Academy's top movies. This is just how these movies personally affected us. And so I come to my number one, and in all seriousness, I remember when I saw this movie, I regretted watching this movie. I'm not even joking. I really wished at the time I had not watched this movie. Because it gave me non-ending terrifying nightmares for a long time, and I would have given anything to go back and unsee this movie.
there's the name of your horror movie.
Yeah.
Unseen.
Yeah,
Unseen.
but then later on, I went back and watched it again when I got older, more mature, and able to handle myself emotionally, and I realized it's just a brilliant horror movie. And they made sequels to it, which were absolute garbage, and so I won't even include them. But the original Clive Barker's, and I believe it's Clive Barker's short story that they made into a movie called Candyman.
Mm.
This movie terrified me as a child, and I shouldn't. My parents should not have and they should not have rented this movie for me. I think this movie came out in '92.
Yeah.
So I was probably 11 years old. This is not a child-appropriate movie at all. That movie, I am not kidding, terrified me. I mean,
So
nightmares.
you have to be 21 or older to watch that movie.
That scarred me for. I mean, I can't even describe to you how terrified I was after I saw this movie. And I don't know if it's the soundtrack, and if we do a top 10 horror soundtracks, and actually, I probably should have put this on my list, or top original motion picture soundtrack, but it's got the dun 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 dun. It's all orchestra piano music, and it's just creepy as shit. But the thing is first of all, he killed children in this movie. There was no, if you were of a certain age, you were safe. He killed children. And matter of fact, the way he killed them, and they do flashback scenes in this movie where they talk about his legend. And there's a scene in particular where They talk about this little boy, and they've got narration in this movie. It's so damn creepy. But there's this particular scene where they talk about how they heard there's a legend that there was a young boy, and they tell the boy's name, and he was kind of mentally handicapped, and he had to go to the bathroom. And his mother was in the grocery store in this area called Cabrini Green, which is in the ghetto and the projects and stuff. And the kid couldn't hold it. And so the mother sent him across the street into Cabrini Green to use a public housing bathroom, which is like this little outdoor building. And all of a sudden, they hear this horrible screaming sound coming from the building. Of course, they don't show you what's going on. You just hear this really guttural screaming coming from the building. And so this big, tough black guy runs across the street and goes into the building. And you hear the narrator saying when he came out, his hair was white. And then they show you a real quick scan of the inside of the bathroom, and basically the little kid has been slit from his groin all the way up to the bottom of his chin with, he's been cut in half, split up from his private parts. I'm not kidding. His testicles and his penis are in the toilet.
No.
I mean, and this kid was probably 8, 10 years old, and you can hear him and screaming, and the camera pans over him. You just see his private parts in the toilet, and he's been split from his groin all the way up through his chin with a hook, a meat hook. And oh my God,
it takes a tough a guy who really wants to risk it all to be tough enough to want to make a movie. It's like an unwritten rule, like you don't mess with kids, you don't mess with certain things, but if you have a horror movie where the kids are most of the victims and whatnot, it'll make some money. It'll be talked about and whatnot, because that's a taboo, almost, that kind of a thing. People don't want to see kids get hurt. But to this day, Candyman. You talk about Bloody Mary, you talk about Freddy Krueger, you're gonna bring up Candyman. It was like Candyman was the combination of those two legends.
Do you remember when he killed the psychiatrist in the hospital scene? So basically the main character gets framed, and she gets locked up in a mental hospital, and she's sitting in the office with the psychiatrist, and he starts talking about Candyman, and there's a mirror on the desk, and she says, don't say that. And of course, he's stupid. He says it, and he's kind of like, and you start hearing these ripping sounds, and basically the thing comes up from behind him, and you can hear it ripping through his ribs and guts, and it rips up all the way through the top of his back. It's disgusting. Like it still is disgusting.
that's why in my even in my top list, even in my honorable mentions, I guess I was afraid to put some movies on my list, as I don't want to. My mother would tell you she would have been shocked that I didn't put Stephen King's It
on my list. That was on my honorable mention.
Yeah,
you can hear him grunting as he's ripping, forcing the hook through the guy's guts, and it's just like. And then he does this scene where he flies backwards. When he leaves, he flies backwards through the window to leave, and it's just like, oh my God, like that movie scarred me.
And people knew that he scarred a lot of people mentally, because, and that's probably why he was cast and brought back multiple times for the Final Destination franchise.
Tony Todd.
Yeah, was he? People couldn't figure out, was he Death? Was he Satan? Was he just some guy that just knew a lot? I mean, what the?
God, he scared the shit out of me as a kid. Oh my God.
They struck while the iron was hot on that one, because everybody knew people that Candyman still freaked people out. So having him as the Undertaker or the mortician guy or whatever,
guys, the sequels, don't waste your time. They're corny garbage, but watch the original 1992 Candyman. I promise you.
I didn't even know there was Candyman sequels.
They're stupid, absolute garbage. Don't waste your time.
Is it him? Is it still him?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm sure they paid him a lot of money to do it. But
well, and it's probably because that's probably how they got away with that first one. But I'm sure after that first one, people was really like, probably maybe they got letters and stuff for like, no, the whole killing the kids thing, that was too brutal. I'm sure he didn't kill as many kids as brutally on the second one.
No, they became cheesy. This first one was not supposed to be funny at all. There was a complete seriousness to it. It was absolutely cut and bone. This is a horror movie. This is serious. The other ones are stupid and cheesy. I'd forget them. Forget them.
Yeah. So that's probably why I even know they existed. But if I was to go to honorable mentions now, I only put three down. I have Stephen King's It. I
Yep.
had The People Under the Stairs. It was one that freaked me
Oh
out back
yeah,
in the
with
day.
Roach.
Yeah, that freaked me out big time.
The
I
gimp
watched that
suit.
movie so many times.
The gimp suit with the shotgun.
Man, I just that was when I was a little kid and I didn't realize that they were freaky. They were freaky
S&M. They were in S&M
stuff.
and all that
And
Sadist
then,
mess.
oh man, that woman was the woman that played the wife.
It
Oh
was
man,
insane.
she was weird, man. That whole movie freaked me out. And here's one, and I talked about this on the blog. I'm talking through the movies .com on the blog .blogspot.com. I did a little article about this. This is not a horror movie, but the reason why I put it in my honorable mentions is because of how it made me feel. J.K. Simmons movie Whiplash. Now, now, the reason I saw this, I just totally threw you off. Awesome drama, awesome movie. It's awesome stories about the kid being tortured by his drum teacher and whatnot. Have you seen Whiplash yet?
Oh yeah. No, I saw the preview for it. I said I told myself I would see it, but I didn't get a chance to see it in the theaters,
That
and I
was
got to wait for it to get on Netflix or on Xbox.
when
Yeah.
I did my first talk me into it. It was on that. It was on that. I wrote it down in my blog. And the reason why I say I'm mentioning it in a hard countdown is because you're watching this kid. He's striving to be perfect. He wants to impress. He wants to be the best. He wants to prove to his teacher, J.K. Simmons, that he can be the best and everything. And no matter what he does, no matter how good he is, he's like, do it again. Come on, try. That's not. He's like, try again. No, that's not quite my tempo. Try. And then he's throwing a chair at him. He's mentally. I mean, it's almost like torture. He's in this kid's head. He knows he's pushing him to be the best. And no matter how fucked up it is, J.K. Simmons' characters, his intentions were good. He's in his mind, he's doing
Wants
it
them
for
to
the
be the
right
fucking
reasons.
best. Push.
Yeah, push. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's no jury in the world that wouldn't have found him would not have found him guilty of
Abuse.
abuse. But he would have been in jail big time. But I remember when I turned that off, I looked at my wife and I was like, that was a good freaking movie, man. And it touched the same buttons as a horror movie. I said I felt like I just watched a horror movie. It was nothing scary about it. Everything, the intensity of it, everything, the heart racing of it, like what the hell is about to happen? It's a regular movie. It's a drama. It's a good story. But it, for some reason, for me, it pushed horror movie buttons. Even though I wasn't scared, I wasn't watching any bad scenes or kids getting ripped up or anything like that. But the same buttons were pushed. For some reason, I don't know why. I have to honorably mention Whiplash, which is not a horror movie at all. You got to see that movie. It will. And
I'll watch
if you
Whiplash. I'll
check
check
it
it out.
out,
I've been
let,
wanting to see it. I just hadn't seen it yet.
let me know if you agree with that whole put. Maybe I'm just a pussy. I don't know. But it
I'll give
pushed
you my
those buttons.
spiel on it.
But what else you got? Any some honorable mentions in there?
Man, I've got a lot of them, and I won't sit here and wait and go through all of them talking about them. So I'll just go ahead and start naming some of them off, okay? And this is just starting from physically where I wrote them down, not in order. So of course I had The Exorcist. I had Tremors 1. I love Tremors. I had Child's Play 1. I had Evil Dead 1, 2, and 3 in the Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness.
I had Arachnophobia. I love
I
that
forgot
movie.
about that one.
Yeah. I've got Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead. I've actually got all the Living Dead movies on there. I've got Halloween.
Yeah.
I've got The Blob, the remake in the 80s. That movie scared me for some reason. It was so gruesome. I had Creep Show 1 and 2.
Oh my God, I forgot about Creepshow.
Yeah, The Blob. He gets on the shoreline. He's like, "I got it. I beat you." And it just goes, "Whoa."
Yeah. Oh, do you remember Leeches? Remember that movie? Oh, those
What the fuck was it? We'll have to talk. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. There's a couple of those ones like that.
You remember Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yes, when they suck them up like cotton candy. Yeah, I call that a comedy though. But yeah, I remember that was one of my favorites. Those are creepy ass looking clowns.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Yeah. Bing. Yeah. So we have Creepshow 1 and 2. I've got Interview with the Vampire. Great
Classic.
movie, and one considered that to be a drama. Bram Stoker's Dracula. I love.
Classic.
Oh man, my boy George Clooney in Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah. That was awesome.
Bill Paxton, Near Dark. The Stand.
Yeah.
It, Nightmare on Elm Street, Let the Right One In, and lastly but not least, I don't know if you've ever seen this. This is a throwback from way back, and it's got, I think it's the kid from maybe from E.T. I may be wrong, but it's called The Quest. I don't know if you remember this movie from back in the day.
I haven't seen it.
There's like a moat, and every once in a while big bubbles come up from it, and this big monster thing comes out from it, and it turns out to be like a damn crane is at the bottom of this moat. But they don't know that till the end of the movie. But it's awesome. I actually broke my VCR with this fucking movie.
Oh, it sounded like that movie, The Gate, almost.
Yeah, dude, you know who was in that movie?
What was that?
The Deacon Frost when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He's an ugly little kid.
Hell, you can even say that Blade 2 was a damn horror in a way, because those damn vampires, those enhanced vampires were creepy, man. I guess I can also honorably mention Tales from the Hood.
Yeah.
That movie got me. Welcome to hell.
That dude is great, Clarence. Yeah, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that
they open the coffins awesome. And they see they're all really dead. Yeah, I love that fucking movie, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that movie.
The creepiest story from that movie though was the little kid, and his stepfather was beating him, the monster.
Yeah,
that was really poignant.
Oh yeah, when he realized that he had the power to hurt you if he drew your picture, and he balled that paper up, and that kid that was bullying him broke every bone in his body. He's like, fell down the stairs, he broke every bone in his body. And the teacher was like, boy must have just had weak bones. It was some, oh man, in the plantation scene where the guy was
the dolls,
the little dolls.
The dolls.
That was a creepy story.
Yeah,
you could make a whole movie out of that.
Yeah, that the dolls
story. But another honorable mention, I guess my last one would be the Tales from the Dark Side movie, and and like you said, the Creep Show ones, the ones where it was like multiple scenes.
Yeah,
in one movie
bunch of movies.
Oh man,
I used to watch the shit out of Tales from the Crypt on HBO.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt was
that show scared me, man.
I remember to this day, one of the ones that I mean, there were way better episodes than this one, but the one I remember was when Demi Moore was on an episode of Tales from the Crypt. They always got these A-list actors
because it was big. It was big.
But I mean, they always got them just before they became A-listers or right after they stopped being A-listers. But they got them in that little between spot. But of nowadays,
Chris, did I lose you?
Oh, I'm still here.
Okay, go ahead. So you were saying Demi Moore and Tales.
Demi Moore was in it. I forgot the guy who played the husband, the father in the Hangover movies, the one who died. I think that was he played her husband. He played this big fat guy. He was in a fat suit, and the only reason why she was with him because she was a gold digger. She thought he was about to be rich, and then when he wasn't really rich, and she won the lottery or some shit like that, and she was about to leave him, and then he just walked in the kitchen. He just pulled out a knife and he told her straight up, "If I can't have you, no one can." That's how he killed her. If I can't have you, no one can. He killed her. And
that Crypt Keeper always had such a good sense of humor.
Oh yeah, when he would burst out of the coffin. He always with those. But you know what? His puns, or was it a female?
Yeah, it was a guy, but he was always so funny. He's like,
his puns were actually kind of spot on. I mean,
situation.
Yeah, exactly. It was cheesy as hell, but it worked for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tales from the.
If you YouTube, you can see the guy who I think he even goes to Comic-Con. You can see the guy who did the voice for the Crypt Keeper. He still does events.
Oh, cool.
He's not very old either. I was surprised. He's not old. He's not an old guy.
But yeah, I have to check that out. But yeah, that's the list. That's top 10 for horror. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that we convinced you to check out some movies that maybe you haven't seen, or maybe that you haven't seen in a long time. I don't think I'm going to be, cracking open the DVD player to watching these movies anytime soon. It's just, they just freak me out just talking about it right now. It's actually kind of too quiet in his house right now. So I got a lot of work to do. I had a lot of work to do tonight, but you know what? I'm gonna crash tonight. But what do you think, man? Any of these movies you're about to go check out real soon?
No. At some point, but this late at night, I don't feel like having horrible nightmares. Man, It's a good list, man. These are these, like I said before, if you can make a good scary horror movie, the feeling that you were left with at the end of the movie, you have to like dust it off you. Like you have to get it to go away because it's a
Exactly.
horrible feeling. You're just uneasy.
No matter how old you are, how tough you are, you're gonna crack up. You're gonna go to You're gonna be checking Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel out real soon. I don't care who you are. You're like, yeah, I need some Mickey Mouse.
Man, remember, fuck My Little Ponies, Rainbow Bright, baby, Rainbow Bright.
Man, that Rainbow Bright movie was epic. But we're gonna continue that fight another day. But as always, hey, if you like this video, hit the like button, support us, let us know what you think. Send us comments, send us the word, send us suggestions. What do you think we should debate about or have a top 10 rundown? Because we're gonna we can top 10 of almost anything and your favorite My Little Pony episodes, you know. So we're gonna keep that going, and like I said, send us a subscribe, and always keep talking about these movies, and let's keep talking. And Mr. Sean, do you want to let people know how they can find you if they want to reach out to you, or do you only want them to reach out to you through the website? And
we're working on multiple outlets for right now. Keep watching our stuff. We want to keep doing this indefinitely. This is our passion. You know, we all have 9 to 5, but this is stuff we know and love. So please leave us comments, subscribe. Give us some feedback, you know, give us some input. More than anything, we want to hear what you guys are thinking, because it's me and Chris, regardless whether or not we're doing these broadcasts, we're going to be on the phone or on Xbox Live talking about this stuff. So we love getting out feedback from outside. So let us know, give us some shout outs, and if you like, please subscribe and let us keep doing this. So keep going to the movies.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well put. Well said. And yeah, let's to the next time, the next episode. I don't know what we're gonna do. Have we decided what the next one was gonna be yet? Or we're gonna we'll figure it out like 5 minutes before air. What do you think?
Yes.
We'll come
5-10 minutes. We'll figure it out.
We'll cram it all in. I thought you were gonna say that's what she said. I was waiting for it.
No!
All right. But
I didn't know. I thought it was off. I would have thrown it in there.
No, we're good. But okay, thanks for watching, guys. Let us know what you think. Send a subscribe, send a like. As always, peace out, guys.